Hello, everybody. How is it going? A happy day. I'm so excited to be joined here today with Nathan Resnick, CEO of Sourcify, creator of the coolest coffee table. How's it going, Nathan?
It's going fantastic. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on. It's an absolute pleasure. This has been just such an incredible journey. I remember we did a webinar together a few months ago and kind of like mentioned these kinds of things and these projects. And here we are. You've had a ton of success, and we'll dig into that in just a second. But to everybody watching right now, if you're watching the recording, thanks so much for watching the recording. If you're watching us live and you can hear us, put a one in chat, say something nice, let us know that you can hear me, you can see Nathan, see our screen, all of that fun stuff. Just let me know that we're coming in loud and clear. So really excited to be here with you guys today. And then I'm sure you guys are going to have some fantastic questions for myself, for Nathan, if you want to learn about what it took to create his product, if you want to learn more about the crowdfunding process on our end, go ahead and you'll notice at the bottom there's an ask a question kind of like button. So if you click on that, you'll be able to ask questions. And again, at the end of this webinar, we'll be opening it up. We'll be answering any questions that you guys have, anything at all, whether it comes to product creation, crowdfunding, and everything in between. So super stoked to dig in on this. So let's jump in here. I'd love to talk a little bit about this incredible gentleman, Nathan Resnick. Nathan, tell everybody, give everybody a little bit of background behind yourself. How the heck did you launch two six-figure campaigns within 30 days of each other? You've done so many incredible things, and I'd love for you to just share that with everybody here. Tell everybody about yourself.
Yeah, totally. So, my name's Nathan Resnick. I run Sourcify. We're the go-to manufacturing platform that helps hundreds of different, e-commerce brands and a few Fortune 500s manufacture products across Asia. We have our product sourcing school, which is our educational program that teaches people how to bring an idea to life. And I really wanted to showcase to our community and to our audience how effectively you can do that. And so I had the idea for this product, Coolest Coffee Table, where we basically tricked out a coffee table. We had speakers, coolers, chargers, everything you could think that you would ever want in a coffee table we put in it. And I think, really when I think about e-commerce and I think about growth, a lot of times when you're starting an e-commerce business, one of the biggest risks you have to take is with inventory and proving demand. And so that's really when it hit me that, okay, if we want to prove demand for anything, we should look to crowdfund it. And obviously LaunchBoom is the go-to crowdfunding agency. They've helped raise tens of millions of dollars across Indiegogo and Kickstarter. And so I hit them up and said, hey, I've got this idea for this coffee table. I want to be transparent with our Sourcify audience, and I think with your LaunchBoom audience as well, in regards to how we went from an idea to a six-figure crowdfunding campaign and soon to be a seven-figure e-commerce brand. And so that was really the journey. So with that product, manufacturing wise, we can dive in more to it. And then with Bubble Hotels, it's a bit of a different journey. This is a kind of side hustle, side business for me. And we've got a boutique hotel in Joshua Tree, and I wanted to prove demand before we go out and raise more capital to expand. And it was the same thread as before in terms of what's the best way to prove demand. I think a lot of times for any product or experience, it's crowdfunding. So I said, okay, well, let's try to crowdfund this and see if we can pre-book out our stays. And so Bubble Hotels went on Indiegogo, I think 2 weeks ago. We surpassed $500,000, I think, yesterday. And it's just been awesome. I mean, the community that we've built is incredible, and the LaunchBoom process has been really fun.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you on that, Nathan, and yeah, just so stoked to be working with you on those projects, and it's just so cool to see. I think it's like really like it's definitely the highest raised hotel ever, and I think it's one of the first on crowdfunding. I think you're like really paving the way for future projects and things like that. I know you've got a lot more in the pipeline for that too, so really excited for that. But let's again, we're not here to talk about Bubble Hotels, and I'm sure everybody here would love to dig into that campaign campaign, $500,000 is huge, and it's just going to keep going. That's definitely going to be an 8-figure brand this year, if not a 7-figure crowdfunding campaign. So, but let's dig into Coolest Coffee Table. So today, guys, we're going to be digging into metrics. We're going to be talking about the product creation process, and we're going to be digging into all of that stuff. And so again, guys, if you have questions, use that ask a question tool at the bottom, and we'll be able to get to them at the end of the presentation. So Nathan, how did this all start? Like, where did the idea come from?
Yeah, totally. So, I think from a product standpoint, really our process and everything we teach in product sourcing school stems from just drawing your idea on a piece of paper. And for me, my handwriting sucks. I mean, this is literally the drawing that Coolest Coffee Table started with. I had a little coffee table. I said I wanted speakers, lights, coolers, USB chargers, all of that. And as you can see, it's a pretty bad drawing. And so what we do is we take these drawings, and then we have a design team where we teach you how to hire a designer as well, and turn this into a computer-aided design, a CAD drawing. And so this CAD drawing, obviously showcases this product in a much better way. And with this CAD drawing, you can start working with a factory to produce that sample. And a lot of people, I think, most of the times figure, oh, I'll just produce a sample at home or through 3D printing, whatever it may be. And I think that's a fine first step. But if you're actually trying to grow a real e-commerce business that starts from a crowdfunding campaign, you have to know how you're going to manufacture your product at scale when starting. And so I always skip that process of saying I'm going to make a sample at home, and we just go straight to factories. And so Sourcify, within our product sourcing school, we have like a find a factory service that I use to produce this coffee table. And we basically handle the rest in terms of vetting a factory, in terms of managing production, in terms of producing this first sample, the importation, all of that, and putting the pieces together. But we also teach you how to go out and vet a factory on Alibaba or global sources or the other marketplaces. And so that's really how this process starts. And then with that first sample, the beauty of crowdfunding is you can take this first sample, and to be completely honest, I don't even know, Thomas, if you know this, but I've actually never seen this product in real life. I've never seen this product in real life. We sent this sample directly to the LaunchBoom studio, where they analyzed it, gave us any notes that needed improvement, took all the photos, ran all the marketing assets. I mean, I was completely hands off in this process. And I think that's, part of the beauty of working with LaunchBoom and their creative team is just, I sent them the sample and they kind of did the rest, which was awesome. And so with this initial sample, we were confident enough to really, dive into that LaunchBoom process. And it was started with Test Boom. And so, our Test Boom results were awesome. Like, I think we were getting a great, cost per lead. LaunchBoom's ad team was running all the ads across Facebook and Instagram and Google and all of that. And I was pretty hands off, honestly. I was like, okay, let's see how this works out. And it was awesome. I mean, we're creating a community, which I think is so important for any crowdfunding campaign. Thomas can probably touch more on that in regards to how you set that up on Facebook and activate that community. But it's just a really smooth and transparent process. And I think by creating a community, you have so much more brand expansion in the e-commerce world, because so many people kind of skip past that step. And I think that's also part of the beauty of crowdfunding is you're building that community from day one when you go out to launch a product.
Yeah, well said, Nathan. And the thing that's really exciting to you guys is this was during the test boom. I'll go back here. This was one of the top performing images during the test boom process. Of course, like having the actual unit allowed us to do a lot more stuff, but even just working with CAD drawings and renderings for test boom, we were able to like identify and like pass this project before Nathan needed to invest a ton of money even and time into everything else. I know you were kind of like on the process of making that happen regardless, but that's what I love about you, Nathan, is MVP, moving with the imperfect action and all that other fun stuff. Is like we were able to get the testing in, you were able to start seeing some really cool ad data. And then once we were able to get this in, we were able to then take things to the next level, produce the video, all of that fun stuff. So today, guys, I want to dig in and talk about the process. So kind of like the whole, from test boom to launch, all that other fun stuff. Like, what did we do? What was the process? How are we able to raise almost $200,000 on Kickstarter? And I'm sure that's going to just go to a whole nother level now that we're on Indiegogo in demand. So let's dig into that today. So I want to show you guys our reservation funnel. This was the same process that we used, the same process that we built for creating, for testing this product, for creating that community, for getting it everything you need before you go to Kickstarter or Indiegogo. And so let's just walk through this together really quickly. So of course, we start with some Facebook ads. And then from there, that then goes to a landing page where we're collecting email addresses. And then, of course, we call that a non-VIP lead, where they'll then get a pre-campaign non-VIP welcome email, at which point they will be invited to then go to the next part, which is the reservation bridge page, where they can then go to the reservation checkout page, and put in a $1 deposit in order to become a VIP and get access to the Facebook group, get a better discount, access to Nathan, all the other fun stuff. And then, of course, go to the thank you page, where after they are a VIP, where they can then click to go to the Facebook group, which again, I'll show you guys here in just a second. And then, of course, they're then getting each group. So you got your VIPs and your non-VIPs are each getting different email sequences for the launch of the campaign. And so this is the process that we use for Test Boom. So we're looking at a whole bunch of different metrics, from cost per lead, cost per VIP, all of that stuff, to identify if this product is a good fit for crowdfunding and if it's going to do well. And that was what was really cool is Nathan's product, absolutely amazing for crowdfunding. And so going into I'm going to share some really interesting bits of information here. So first question that we get a lot is, well, what was the top performing ad? This was it. So Nathan, I don't know if you even know what the top performing ad was. I'm sure you do. But this is it. And it was it's interesting because a lot of times when you have such an awesome product, part of the challenge is to get it to stand out, get people to really notice it, and get people to click. And so that was kind of the process that we took here. We had this coffee table as hella lit, some dude in California. And so I think this was actually somewhat timely, because this was being run, I believe, during the California fires. So we're tapping into present stuff, like California's lit, California, things like that. I think that's really, really cool. And then looking at, of course, the most advanced coffee table ever, very straightforward, very simple, very to the point. And it was also very true. And so this is also an important feature here, is if we're going to make a hyperbolic statement, I say it hyperbole here, like the most advanced, the best, the coolest coffee table ever, it better well be. And I think that's the cool thing about what Nathan did, was Nathan did make the coolest coffee table ever. There's no question about that. And so I think that's a really important point here with your headlines and things like that, is bringing your attention to that. And so again, I talked about sending traffic to a landing page. And so this is what that landing page looked like. Of course, there was more here. You could continue to scroll, collect email addresses, where we then were able to go to this, what we call a reservation bridge page, basically putting in $1 to reduce the price from $8.99 to $4.99. So super cool, great. Again, who wouldn't want to do that? And then from there, once they put in $1, are then able to join that VIP group. And so within that VIP group, they're then able to, this is cool. Look at this, 970 people in this group, and it's growing. I was in there earlier today, just checking it out. You've got 7 to 10 new people that want to join right now. And so it's so cool because Nathan's able to, as he was saying, build that community. He's able to share announcements, right? Look at this, VIPs, I got some news and pumped to share, get feedback. Look at this, 39 reactions, 76 comments. He's able to get real like real information about his product. He gets feedback, like he's like, how many, like, should I invest more in the black table or the red table, right? You're able to like use that group to like make those decisions. And then he was just getting a ton of really great feedback, like, thank you for approving me. I would love to have an unusual coffee table. Hope the cat will ruin the legs, right? Like, and then people asking questions like, how many bottles of water can the fridge fit in the fridge? And so these kinds of questions can then the LaunchBoom team is also looking at these things and looking at, okay, how can we incorporate some of that stuff into our advertising, into the campaign page, all of that. Nathan, any thought? You did a fantastic job on building the community. That's something that not a lot of product creators do. Like sometimes they'll just do like the bare minimum to like maintain that VIP group, but you
Mm-hmm.
killed it. What are some like thoughts about that? What were some interesting things about the VIP group, or any advice you
Yeah,
have?
yeah, totally. I mean, I think, pre-launch, I would say you want to be posting in there at least once a week and really make them feel like they're a part of that build process. So I remember, we asked them what other colors they wanted in the table. A lot of questions were asked, which was good. So we can, kind of continue to build out and finalize our designs for production. And it just becomes this really neat group where you can innovate and take product feedback from to improve your design. So that's, I think, the key, and just making people feel like they're involved in that design process is huge.
Did you like? Were there any interesting findings or surprises being in the VIP group?
Um, I think overall, just how active people were. They became very involved. We had just a ton of engagement, which was great. So I think that obviously led into a huge crowdfunding campaign, which we had.
Awesome. Did it impact the product at all? I don't know if that was the case. I mean, you had such an awesome
The,
product coming into it.
the colors, it definitely did. We started with one color, and then based on our community's feedback, we decided what other colors we wanted to do.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And now you've got a whole group of raving diehard fans for your next product.
Yep, exactly. And I think that's the beauty of it is I think with any e-commerce brand as you grow, crowdfunding becomes this tool that you have a community for to fund your next product. So we've got, a lot in the pipeline around different furniture items that we're doing.
That's awesome. Before I move into the next section, which is focused primarily on like analytics and metrics and things like that, is there anything that you'd like to share from a product design perspective or product creation process that was like really challenging, things that you overcame?
Yeah, I mean, I would say nothing, challenging per se, because we were working with, the Sourcify manufacturing team. But I think one thing to note is that, the sample that we used in our crowdfunding campaign was improved on through the process of this community feedback. And so our final production samples are actually going to be even better than this first sample that we used to crowdfund the product. And so, I think originally we didn't have those RGB lights that you see on the side. And a lot of our community's feedback was, oh, it'd be so cool if we could add lights to the table. And so that's what we did. And so it's this kind of continuous feedback loop. And the nice thing is with crowdfunding is you've got like, a 30-day period to really finalize the designs with your factory as you're going through that campaign process.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I can't tell you how many crowdfunding campaigns I've been a part of that, the product that was introduced at the beginning of the crowdfunding campaign is completely different and vastly improved from the one that is ultimately delivered. I think it's so
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Awesome. So let's dig into some of these metrics. So again, I'm gonna like skip back here really quickly. We looked at this funnel, right? So we've got our Facebook ads, sending traffic to landing pages, collecting leads, those leads then becoming VIPs. And so what we want to look at is what, like from an advertising perspective, how much was invested, what were some of the metrics that we can look at here to get a better understanding of our returns and how well our pre-campaign did that led to such a successful campaign. So let's dig into those metrics right now. So the first thing is so looking at our pre-campaign ad spend, our pre-campaign total ad spend was about $28,959. And so from that, during the pre-campaign, so this is before the campaign is even live, all of this advertising is happening. And a lot of people ask, how much should we spend on our pre-campaign? Well, here are some really cool metrics. So we spent $28,959. From that, we collected 19,058 emails. That's a lot of emails. That's awesome. With that, we had 1,342 reservations. That's VIP. So as you can see, of course, not all of them made it into the Facebook group, but we did get a large number of VIPs. Our cost per lead, of course, you can do the math here yourself. It was $1.52, and our cost per reservation was $21.58. So that's really, really, really good. And then our revenue in the first 24 hours was $159,000, $542. Once we we're currently in the process of doing our full postmortem analysis, we'll be able to get actual, like we're matching emails to VIPs, and we'll be able to look at the actual like revenue from the VIP list, all of that other fun stuff, which is super cool because right now this is just taking into account the metrics from the first 24 hours, but we would be able to get even better metrics in a couple of days. And so just some things here to note that are, again, really, really exciting is this is, and unfortunately our faces are blocking this number down here, but this is an ROI of 5.5x. That's awesome. So it costed us about $97, I believe, just doing some quick math, for somebody to purchase one unit during the pre-campaign. So 5.5x, not bad. Nathan, would you be interested in sharing kind of like what your COGS are on this thing, or like what your margins are?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general in the e-commerce world, we always shoot for like a 70+% gross margin. So if I'm selling $100 product, I'm not going to be spending more than $30 to produce it. So with this coffee table in particular, I think our Kickstarter backers got it for $500. And so you can kind of do the math. 30% of that went into the actual unit cost. And as we grow off of Kickstarter, our price points obviously increase. I mean, I think on Kickstarter, the average discount is probably like 25 to 50%. And I think we're retailing these coffee tables at $800. So, our margin grows. But also I think, kind of the ROAS you have to really understand as you move off of Kickstarter into your, regular e-commerce platform and program, because it, fluctuates a bit more than on Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we usually see much higher returns on crowdfunding, which is really exciting, especially from our pre-campaigns. I mean, and so really, really cool. These are like, again, I can't, like, I was showing these metrics to my marketing team this morning, and they were like, wow, this is incredible. So these are like really, really, really incredible, awesome metrics. And so with this, you can make some other assumptions. Like you can see, what percentage of, like, I think there was like 311 backers or something like that. I believe it was the first 24 hours. Again, you can identify like I think the percentage of reservations that ultimately converted was really low. So I would say, I think it was like a little over 20%, which again, that is really, I would say that's low. Usually we see maybe 30 to 40%. And I think a large factor of that is the price point of the product and the cost for shipping, which can't really be avoided. But that's why, again, when we were looking at passing this project through TestBoom, that was something that we took into account, and we wanted to make sure that we had such a phenomenal cost per reservation so that we could maintain such an incredible return on investment or return on ad spend. And so really, really, really cool to see these metrics and all of that. And so yeah, this is what it created. Was a campaign that raised 188,000. We're already over 190,000 on in demand. We've only been live a couple days, even with the election, and just really excited to be able to start promoting it a lot more. So a lot of people ask us, well, what were the top audiences that led to these incredible metrics? So of course, our number one was our lookalike of leads. So getting those first 1,000 leads a lot of times can be the most expensive advertising that you do. Of course, as you scale, that's can balance that out a little bit. But once you get to that first 1,000 leads, then you can switch over to lookalikes of those leads. And so, what were the original? Just after you get your first 1,000, things can get a lot easier from there. A lot. Not necessarily simpler, because you want to, as you're scaling, as you're increasing your budget, you want to advertise to a lot of different audiences to make sure that you're spreading that budget out and not overspending on one audience. But our lookalike of leads was really successful. Other audiences that performed exceptionally well was, so LaunchBoom has 3 million emails from all the campaigns that we've launched, and that's one of the benefits of working with us. And so it's like two of our top audiences. One was computer peripherals backers, so people who back projects like ZBEC, things that are like screens and all of that fun stuff. That was those were really successful. One of our kitchen products, also lookalikes of our kitchen product backers, and people who backed some of our other kitchen products. Again, I can't share the names of those. Those were some of our top performers as well. And then looking at some more cold audiences, ones that necessarily weren't ones that we owned, but just because our team is so badass and really great at targeting, we found that PC gamers, console gamers, as well as like high-end home decor individuals really loved the content. And so when it came to, it's cool, it's funny because hearing about like the RGB lighting, that makes a lot of sense since PC gamers and console gamers were really loved this product. Anything interesting that you'd like to share from this, or any interesting findings from the advertising metrics perspective?
I think what's cool is that you can really dive deeper into these communities. A lot of these audiences are super active on like Reddit or those other type of, forums and platforms. And so, I remember, I think we were shared on one of these subreddits that was with gamers, and it just like generated a bunch of buzz around our product, and, a lot of conversions as well. So I think it's cool to understand your audiences and, tap into it off of Facebook as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, because once you identify like, okay, PC gamers love this, now okay, I need to go off like, this is one of the big benefits of working with LaunchBoom is you get access to this information, this data, and so now you can go point your PR efforts or your influencer marketing efforts at these kind of like communities, right? Twitch, right? Maybe like there's some future for like some gamers, to really promote this product for you, Nathan. And so I think that's super cool.
Totally.
Awesome. So that's pretty much it for metrics and all of that fun stuff. I mean, I've covered just, I'm sure, this is a lot of information to just distill into such a short period of time. But again, if people do have questions about this, like please ask them using that Ask a Question tool, and then and we'll be able to answer those questions in just a few minutes here. But before we get into those questions, I'd love, Nathan, if you just take a couple minutes and share a little bit more about Product Sourcing School, how people can learn more about it, and people can go the same path that you did and launch their own coolest coffee table.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was really the goal with this product, is I wanted to show people how they can do it themselves through our community. And so Product Sourcing School is an educational program where we help people validate, source, and manufacture their products. We have one-on-one coaching with one of our sourcing managers, as well as I host live weekly group training within our community. We've got a Rolodex of factories, of designers, of pretty much everyone you need to go from a simple drawing like I had to a six-figure, seven-figure crowdfunding campaign or e-commerce business. And I think really one of my favorite parts of Product Sourcing School is the community and just accountability from other founders and other creators that are going through the process. A lot of people have similar questions. A lot of people are going through similar challenges, and we're all here for each other. So if you want to learn more about the program, you can just go to sourcify.com. We've got like I think a quick little webinar explaining it, and it's pretty cool. I mean, I love seeing people bring new ideas to life, and I know Thomas and I have even chatted about different ideas that we have personally that we want to run, and that's the beauty of it. I think is just empowering creators and founders to bring more products to life in a more effective manner.
Yeah, well said, Nathan. I can't like I've been in their back end. I've seen it. I've had members of our team kind of look at like and hop on some of the Product Sourcing School group calls and things like that. And that the value there, Nathan, that you provide is incredible. Like it's just nuts. Like the amount of experience you've had when it's come to product creation, getting this stuff done. It's really scary. There's a lot of risk and all of that stuff, and you just make it so easy to like understand, and you make it you make that process really seamless. And I just again really appreciate you for doing that and making that process so much easier for people that maybe are first time entrepreneurs, have never launched a product before, don't even know how to work with manufacturers, let alone get 3D renderings made.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think it goes the same way with LaunchBoom in regards to your test boom and LaunchBoom process. I mean, I was so hands off with our Kickstarter campaign and even this Indiegogo one. I mean, it's pretty incredible. I think a lot of times it speaks to, the creative and marketing team at LaunchBoom, but also the product itself, right? I think, one thing that we didn't mention in this call is probably just talking about products that you see more successful on crowdfunding sites, because we've had people in product sourcing school that are producing blankets or different stuff like that, and I think those kind of more fashion accessory oriented products aren't always the biggest hit on crowdfunding sites. But I think what is kind of those more like tech enabled product, like tech enabled hoodies I've seen, or like I think you guys had another big campaign with like a Bluetooth oriented microphone that did really well. So I think that's just kind of interesting to see, what products from LaunchBoom's data that can really perform well on a crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah, I'm going to save that. That's a fantastic question, Nathan. I actually just added that to the Q&A section. I will 10 out of 10 go nuts and have so much fun answering that question.
Cool.
Because yeah, I'll definitely like, what types of products do best? That's a fantastic question. That'll be the first question that I answer in the Q&A section of this. And so as Nathan was saying, again, Sourcify, check it out. The other thing that I would definitely recommend is check out both LaunchBoom. And so if you want us to do exactly what we did for Nathan, the same process, same everything, you can click the link at the bottom of this webinar. You see this schedule a call with LaunchBoom. So you click that, that'll take you to our apply page. You can get on the call with one of our product launch specialists, and again, learn more about LaunchBoom and see how we can do exactly what we did for you, for that same thing we did for Nathan for you. And so the other thing too that we have is LaunchBoom Academy. If you can't afford our full services, we do have a service that's similar to Product Sourcing School, just like Nathan. They just go like this. It's incredible. we need to do more stuff. You go do Product Sourcing School, do that first, or get them simultaneously so that you can get more information and like do them together. Is you do that and then you get LaunchBoom Academy. And so I've included a free training from Joe Papirny here. If you click that link, you'll be able to go join a free workshop, a free training. It is awesome. Joe is just like a wealth of information. He's an awesome guy. He just shares so much incredible information, and he's got a free training. So if you click that link in chat, you'll be able to go watch that free training. I know a lot of them, seeing some like familiar faces on here, and a lot of them already have seen that free training and know how awesome it is. And so yeah, so really exciting. So now the part that you guys have all been waiting for is questions. And so I'll start with that question, Nathan, that you asked me, which was what type of products do best? And so I would say it's interesting because there's kind of like two different features of like what makes a product really successful. So first is innovation. And so really like the Swiss Army knife would have probably been the most crowdfunded product of all time if it had been on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. So having something that is really innovative and then also provides a lot of value, right? So like that's what makes the Coolest Coffee Table so cool, is the fact that it has so many different features, right? Like everything you need, it's the best of the best, right? It's like you got the value, you've got like it's a story, you've got all of that. And so products that are truly innovative and are like the best in class, whether that's in their industry or have a ton of incredible features that you can like really share that story on, is really, really, really cool, and definitely something that I would recommend doing well. You can see there's some other verticals. So for example, like e-bikes, crush it. There's like, it's like that used to be watches would crush it on Kickstarter. Those have kind of died off a little bit. Board games are still like the number one product category on Kickstarter right now, and they're really low cost to produce. But I would say like when it comes to like electronics, bikes are insane. We've got like an $800,000 e-bike right now, and we've launched a bunch of e-bikes, and they all do really well. products again that are really innovative, and they also really help you. They're either like super innovative or best in class, or really help you like solve a problem, right? Like one of my favorite examples of this is Backblade, right? Like it's kind of funny to talk about like men with back hair, right? And like it's a daily struggle to like get rid of that back hair. And so that was one of our first $1 million campaigns, was, a product that, it's very simple, but it's really real, and it it really solves that problem. So having that clear kind of like problem solution combination is really important. And then of course being made out of like really interesting like materials, or having a really cool story. And so the next point on when it comes to creating a product that sells really well is passion. So again, you can see Nathan's passion about product creation, and you can see the passion that went into the coolest coffee table. And honestly, I think you see that even more with Bubble Hotels. No offense to coolest coffee table, but like again, like being able to see, Nathan, you like walking around, Joshua Tree with the architect, and like all of that content, you can really see, like I can see there's a clear difference in passion level between the two projects. And I think you can see that too with the amount of money raised. And so the passion behind the founder, like the passion from the founder, I think does make a big difference. William Painter is another really great example of that. Giver Gloves is another really great example of that. Again, like the best damn mittens ever, right? The best sunglasses ever, right? It's just that passion, that attention to detail, that like all of that just to make it perfect, that people truly, truly love. And so those are the kinds of products that I've found do best. Does that answer your question, Nathan?
Yeah, totally. That was a great explanation.
Awesome. So some more questions. Can we please share the page with the diagram? Igor, great question. I will share it, but I will only share it in the Facebook group and Slack channels. So if you want to join the Facebook group and you want to see that super cool diagram that was in this, of course you can just go back and like screenshot it. There you go. But if you want like the high res version, I'll ask Joe, I think, has the high res version of that. If you wouldn't mind, if you're watching right now, Joe, sharing that in the Facebook community. If not, I'll do it later. And so if anyone wants to join that, I highly recommend it. It's a crowdfunded community. You can see the link here in chat, or if you just go to Facebook and type in crowdfunded community, it's a fantastic place to learn about how to get your product launched via crowdfunding. Next question. Nathan, are you selling the table and hotel pods under A, your name, two different company brands, or C, a single company brand for both, and why?
These are all different entities. So, with different projects, I file different LLCs or corporations depending on the goal of the company. I would recommend splitting up the entities completely, because there's then, no conflict of finances, and it's super easy to keep separate. I mean, we run completely different, bank accounts, books, credit cards, everything for every different company.
Yep, I totally agree with that. Next question. When you created the VIP group, did you focus on any demography or characteristic of backers? Yes, I shared those actually. I'll go back, I'll pull the slide up again. Here they are. So our leads, which consisted of people who are really into like computer peripherals, so like extra monitors, people who are into kitchen products, PC gamers, console gamers, and people that were into high-end home decor. So those were the characteristics. And again, because like the way that we're building the VIP group is we're not just going and inviting people, right? They're coming in from our ads, becoming emails, then putting $1 for reservations, and then the people that are VIPs are not joining the group. Which I'll also go back and show. If you guys want to screenshot it, 3, 2, 1, go! Get those print screen buttons firing. There it is. But we'll also post in the group. And so, again, this was the process. Next is, isn't shipping on this incredibly expensive? Did the backers mind?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, that was one of the challenges with this type of product. I mean, furniture in general is expensive to ship. We do all of our warehousing and shipping in America, so it just varies depending on where our customers are based. But yeah, it's definitely a big consideration when, crowdfunding a heavier product like furniture, and you've got to allocate, budget and cost towards shipping. That's for sure.
Yep. Um, how did you ship it? Like, was there a specific shipping company that you'd recommend or anything like that?
We brought it in just through containers. I mean, this is such a heavy item and big item that's got to be in containers. And then we just have a warehouse here in Salt Lake City, actually, that we use.
Awesome. This is a fun one. Is there any fear that doing crowdfunding something this complicated could turn into Coolest Cooler? Did you get everything buttoned up before going live?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I mean, I think even got some comments around that. Is like people were asking, is this the same people that try to do Coolest Cooler? And fortunately, when people look up Sourcify and look up my name, a lot comes up in the manufacturing world. We've been featured on CNN, CNBC, Forbes, pretty much every big media outlet, and we work with a lot of big Fortune 500s as well as some of the highest growing e-commerce brands. So we were extremely confident in our manufacturing capabilities with this product. But if it was kind of someone just starting out, it definitely is a complex product to manufacture. And I think without training or without working with a sourcing team like we have at Sourcify, it could have turned out bad. That's for sure.
Yeah. You got the background, which is really, really important. Somebody asked, how do home decor products do for crowdfunding? Very well. As long as it's innovative or something special. Like one of our, literally our first crowdfunding campaign ever at LaunchBoom was for the EcoCube. That brand, we raised, I think, $10 million total across 7 campaigns or something like that. It was awesome. Home decor products do great as long as they're innovative. If you're just selling like a painting or something like that, not going to do well. But if you've got like a painting that grows plants, it's going to do great. Any way to work with you guys at LaunchBoom in a hybrid way, academy training plus personal consultation and handholding. So as part of academy, we do have, similar to like Nathan's Sourcify weekly calls, we have that as well. And so if you do have any questions about that, I would recommend, again, watching Joe's free training. You can see it there, or just scheduling a call with our team. Joining LaunchBoom Academy, you can also just buy it on our website like right now. Just go to here. I bet we got a really cool video there. I'll grab a link. You can literally just like buy it on our website. Oh, just kidding. You're not going to want to buy it on our website because it's even more expensive on our website. If you watch the free training, we'll give you a discount. Spoiler. But you can learn more about it here. Just hop on a call with somebody on our team, let them know that you want to buy LaunchBoom Academy, and then we'll also see what we can do to support you. And again, through the weekly office hours and stuff like that, you will get like personal support. And I would also recommend joining the Facebook group as well. But yeah, Annabelle, you can check the site out, but go watch Joe's free training because he might have a really sweet offer for you if you watch that, and or get on the call with somebody on our team. They'll definitely be able to hook you up. Nathan, do you ever think about selling at break even so you could raise $1 million and then go on Start Engine for equity raise?
No, I mean, it's a good question, honestly. No, I think every product you sell should have a margin baked into it. That's for sure. I mean, because even if you go raise money on Start Engine and you're like losing money on the products you're selling or barely breaking even, like people aren't going to be that interested in it. So I would say, kind of always have that margin baked into your product. And I think Start Engine or any of these equity crowdfunding platforms like WeFunder or whatever it may be, they're good options to raise capital if you need the capital to expand. So definitely worthwhile checking out.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. And cool news, Nathan, I don't know if you know this, you can now, instead of for round CF, not just 1.07 mil, you can now raise $5 million as of Monday via equity crowdfunding. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, that's amazing. That's pretty cool.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's good. I know there's been more campaigns that raise more than 5 though, right? Or
So those are Series A, not Series CF. So
Okay, got
they're
it.
different.
What's the difference?
It has to do with regulation and SEC's
Okay.
involvement. So the least regulated is CF.
Mm,
That's going to be the one, like if you just did a crowdfunding campaign or something like that, that you're going to want to do a CF round, not a Series A round.
got it. Interesting.
Yeah. But again, Start Engine has a lot of really great resources talking about that. It's also doing a Series A is also a lot more expensive. We've even got a really good webinar that talks about that with Start Engine. Highly recommend it. Do you file patents on your work, Nathan, or do you see things as first to market and continue to innovate?
We file trademarks and IP on the brand, but we don't file patents on the products. I think it's always about first to market and innovation. We always focus on making sure our customers have the best experience, not our competitors. So all our energy is fueled towards empowering and innovating for our customers. And I think IP protection is important with trademarks and branding. But for patents, I mean, it's a lot harder to get a patent than a trademark.
Yeah, any notes on that? I get that all the time. I can't tell you how many people have been like they've waited years because they're afraid of, patents and all of that other stuff, or getting copied and keeping it close to their vest and
Mhm.
all of that stuff. Like any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been on the side of sharing ideas and just, saying, look, the more you share your idea, the better likelihood you have of actually bringing it to life. I think most people that kind of keep their ideas to themselves, it doesn't end up going anywhere, to be honest. And so I'm all about, sharing ideas and spreading energy and kind of empowering other creators to grow. And most of the time when you share your idea, other people are going to want to help you bring that idea to life rather than, copy it and steal it.
Yep. And on top of that, if somebody wants to break your patent, they will. So
Yeah, yeah, and
yeah,
then you got to go spend money to protect your patent anyway. So it's like, most of the time these patents are, rarely worth your while.
yep. Do you plan on hiring virtual PAs to manage all the customer support for something with so many bells and whistles?
Yeah, we have customer support teams in the Philippines as well as in Mexico, so we're covered 24/7.
That's awesome. How do you plan on post-marketing strategy after crowdfunding? Facebook, funnel, SEO?
Yeah,
I
I
can
mean,
I can
so
tell you.
yeah. I mean, go for it. I mean, I know LaunchBoom has like an e-commerce team as well, so maybe you want to touch on that.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what we're hoping to do for you, Nathan. And so basically, what our plan is we're going to continue to spend on Indiegogo in demand until we can't, which is never. So we're just going to keep spending on there, basically until you have ecom up. And so the goal there will be to get that as high as physically possible. I don't think it's like out of reason to hit 500,000 to even close to 1 million on in demand, assuming we can get ads to convert well, especially seeing our pre-campaign metrics. Being able to use a Facebook pixel on there, even with secret perks, I think we should be able to absolutely kill it. It's going to be a little difficult this quarter, though, with Q4 advertising. I mean, the election just sucked from an advertising perspective, but definitely if we've got a little bit more time, 6 months, something like that, getting that high is not going to be a problem at all. It's more of a question of when, not if. And then from there, using that revenue for you, Nathan, to move into ecom with us, we've got a program called ScaleBoom, and so we'll work to get your ecom set up, get you scaling there. I mean, I think that there's no reason why this can't be your first month on ecom, you should be doing 6 figures. I mean, if you look at campaigns like Scoop or Zbeck did like $56,000 on Indiegogo.
Yep,
When we started with them on ecom, since April of this year, they've done $2 million already.
that's awesome.
Um, and we would have done a lot more if we hadn't blown them out of inventory twice. So, so
Well, that's the challenge, right? You either have too much inventory or not enough, and it's always a balance between the marketing team and engine and inventory.
yeah, no, exactly. And then Scoop did 400,000 their first month with ScaleBoom with us. So our ScaleBoom team is bad to the bone, and really excited to get that going with you, Nathan, for the coolest coffee table.
Nice, yeah.
Next question. How do you find time to do this table and the hotel and run Sourcify? Is it
Um,
just grinding?
Yeah, I mean, my full-time job is definitely Sourcify. I mean, I work at least 50 hours a week on Sourcify. And, I think in general, I work probably 80 or 90 hours a week. So leaves 30 or 40 other hours to do other fun side projects. And to be honest, I mean, Coolest Coffee Table maybe took 5 hours a week of my time, if that. Bubble Hotels, same thing, 5 or 10 hours a week. We've got a team at both companies that handle the day to day and that operate the actual entities. And so Sourcify is definitely my full time focus, and I'm always excited and loving what we do at Sourcify. So it's a good question, but I think it's really a balance of time. And for me, I'm kind of one of those individuals that if I just have a singular focus, I tend to get burnt out. And so by having kind of side hustles or side projects, I feel energized at work and of course through these side projects as well.
Awesome. Bob X asking, can he pitch you products and work together? He's got a lot of inventions and would love to pitch you. He lives in San Diego.
I mean, you can email us, but I think you should just do it. You do it yourself. I mean, what's the point of pitching me? I mean, it's I think all about you. It's all about the inventor and creator, and I think that's our goal at Sourcify, and I think LaunchBoom's goal as well is to empower creators and founders to create their own multi-million-dollar brands.
Well said. Um, Nathan, how did you figure out what certifications your product needs, and did you figure that out before or after your Kickstarter?
We figured it out before. It's all through our sourcing team and through our factories. So a lot of times our certificates depend on obviously the type of product, the electronics that go into it, and then where you're planning to sell it. So like if you're planning to sell at big retail like Target or Walmart, your factory needs to have specific certificates in order to sell into those retailers. So typically you want to work with a factory that's been exporting to your country for a while. So, obviously most people I think here are in America. And so you want to work with a factory that has, probably at least 80% of their exports to America.
Awesome. Guys, we only have time for a couple more questions. So well, actually, we should have time for a couple more questions. So get those questions in if you have any last minute questions, and I'll keep getting through these. Next is there a recommended pre-launch budget for advertisements? In this case, there was approximately a spend of 30,000. I can answer that one. I'd say at a minimum is usually 10K, but it really depends on what you're trying to do. If you're only trying to raise like $20,000 or something like that, like you don't need to spend 30K to make 20,000. That'd be silly. So figuring out again what your goals are. Traditionally, it's looking like kind of like the number that you want to play with is like maybe a little like around 10% of what you want to raise should be about how much you're spending. Not to say that that's what you're going to make, but that should be about how much you're spending during a pre-campaign. So for example, here, the goal here was like 200 to or 150 to 300,000, right, in that range. So that would be anywhere from 15,000 to 30,000 in spend. Would be about how much we'd want to spend during pre-launch. And so that's kind of like what you want to that's what you want to kind of budget for, but again, it depends on what you're doing, and it also depends on how good your ads are performing. That's why we have the test boom system. Like as we're going through this process, we're sharing these metrics with Nathan, we're working together to collaborate on like making sure that we've got a good CPA here so that we're not hurting that profit margin. So with the 5x, awesome room for profit and all of that other fun stuff. And so that is something to kind of like take into account and to really consider, and to do not spend if you're getting bad metrics. So for example, if Nathan was getting like a $200 cost per reservation, we would have been like, stop the spending, don't do it. So you only want to spend if you're getting good metrics, and you don't want to launch until you have a large enough community that you're going to blow your goal out of the water. If you want to learn more about like goal setting and stuff like that, I actually just did. If you look up LaunchBoom Live on YouTube, episode 2, which came out on Tuesday, I talked about goal setting on that live show, and I definitely recommend subscribing to LaunchBoom on YouTube. I'll put a link here. I would definitely recommend subscribing to LaunchBoom and watching our LaunchBoom Live episodes. Highly, highly, highly recommended. I'll put a link here. Next question. Every business has risk. What do you think the biggest one with this badass table is? Is it miscalculating your margins? Is it bad customer experience? What keeps you up at night on the table?
What keeps me up about the table? I think
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
in general, right now, not much. I mean, it's all going really well. So, I think that's kind of the key of before you launch and as you go through the process, make sure you have your manufacturing in line. I mean, for us, it's a pretty smooth process. I mean, we've done it, thousands of times before. It's nothing new. So nothing really keeps me up. I mean, for the most part, I'm just excited to grow and turn this into a mid 7-figure, 8-figure brand and continue to launch really cool furniture products. So I would say at the end of the day, as long as you have your manufacturing set and kind of a good funnel to work with and grow, you should be set.
Yep. Well said. So I'm going to answer these next two questions together. Andy asked, does that 10 to 30K advertising cost include LaunchBoom fees? How much did you spend making content for your ads, videographers, photographers, and editors? So we did everything. So every ad, every image, everything other than the renders specifically, we made at LaunchBoom in our studio. And so all of that is included. And I think all in with advertising and our costs, I believe it was somewhere between 50 and 60K. Nathan, you probably know better than I do. And so that is what went into everything. And so that includes like the way that LaunchBoom works is we have a series of kind of like upfront fees in addition to the advertising, and then we take a percentage of total raised. But again, if you hit that schedule call with LaunchBoom button at the bottom, you can hop on with our team and learn, how we work and how we operate, and if we're a good fit for you.
Yep.
Do you plan on going into retail, like Jerome's?
Yeah, we do for sure. We already have a few retail kind of deals in the works. So, um, I think once you prove out your product on a Kickstarter campaign and grow it through your e-commerce channels, like it's just a matter of time when retail deals start to happen. I mean, for us, because it's such a unique product, retailers kind of reached out, I think, in the first or second week, and it's a matter of just figuring out how to work with them and how to handle their purchase orders because sometimes they want payment terms net 30, net 60, and that's kind of when it becomes a balance of the books.
Yep. Cool. Next question. So people asking, can we get the slides? So this is recorded. So anybody that is watching this webinar right now, the fact that you registered also gets you the recording. So all you need to do is once this webinar is over, you're going to need to wait like 5-10 minutes, and then this will become a recording. Also, if you subscribe, so again, you can follow us on Crowdcast and see some of our future webinars and some of our past ones. Or even better, you can also subscribe to us on YouTube. A lot of these are now going to be shared there as well as in our Facebook community. Next question. What is the best place to fund software? That's a little bit more difficult. I honestly don't have a place that is a good place to fund software. Of course, Indiegogo, Kickstarter does have a little bit of that. Start Engine, equity crowdfunding does have a little bit of that. But software, I have not seen there isn't really a good, equity or, rewards-based crowdfunding platform for that. Did you focus any advertising on big retailers, or did they probably reach out to you because of your Kickstarter success?
They primarily just reached out to us. Right now, we don't have an outbound strategy for that. It's all inbound.
Yep. So that's like part of why are we doing crowdfunding campaigns here, right? Is because retailers are watching these channels, right? They're watching success. And so by having a successful crowdfunding campaign, you're getting in front of more people that are going to help you have a successful 7, 8, 9-figure business.
Yep, exactly.
What are the things that backers attract most in a crowdfunding project? So what do people look for in a crowdfunding project? So they're looking for an awesome product at a great discount before anyone else. But that's like my go-to statement. But really, it's they're looking for innovation. They're looking for something that's different. They're looking for something that's new. They're looking for something that they can show off or tell a story, right? It's something incredible. They can be like to their friends. They can be like, "Oh, dang! Like check these out. These are crazy," and they can kind of have that experience. And so that is what people are looking for, is a product with an incredible story and a great set of features. Would Nathan answer some questions? If so, would you be willing to share your contact information, or how can people best get in contact with you?
Yeah, best way is just, sourcify.com. They can email just info@sourcify.com, or just, reach out to us on our website, sourcify.com. That's the best way. And I'm pretty active on like Twitter and LinkedIn too. So just search Nathan Resnick, and yeah, feel free to kind of look at my content there too.
Awesome. Fantastic. And again, yeah, same here too. If you guys join the Facebook community, that would be the best way to connect with me and our team and get some questions answered too. So I'll put a link there again, or if you just scroll up, you guys can find that link. But yeah, Nathan, this was awesome. Thank you so much for your time, for sharing this with everybody, and for making such an awesome product and series of products.
Yeah, thank you. This was awesome. I appreciate you having me on, and really excited for the next products we've got in the pipeline.
Let's go. Let's go. Awesome, man. Well, have an amazing day, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.
Awesome. Sounds good. Bye for now.
Take care, Nathan.